Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi. Alhamdulillah. In this video, we're going to be covering the permanent attributes that have opposites. So we've covered before that in the science of Tajweed, there are pretty much three things that are studied. There is a study of makharij and huruf, the points of articulation of letters, and a study of also tafa'ul and huruf, the interaction that happens between letters when they come together. And likewise, we have sifat and huruf, which is the attributes of letters in the Arabic language. So in this video, we're going to be covering one of those three main topics that are studied in Tajweed, which is the sifat al-huruf, the attributes of certain letters. More specifically, in this video, we're going to be covering the attributes that have opposites, which are 9 types. In another video, we cover the attributes that do not have opposites, which are 7 types. Now, what's meant here by sifat, or attributes that have opposites, is that every single letter in the Arabic language will either have one of its attributes or its opposite. So inshallah, this is going to make more sense in the following slide. So this is just a brief breakdown, giving us a general overlook over these 9 different types of attributes in a very, very brief way, inshallah. So inshallah, this is going to be the introduction to these sifat, these 9 different types of attributes, which do have an opposite to them. So letters can be broken down to 4 categories based on 1, the flow of air and the vibration of the vocal cords. 2, is capability to elongate. 3, where the sound goes in your mouth. And then 4, if the sound gets stuck, quote unquote, or not. Okay. Meaning that this is how you can break down letters. Every single letter will fit into one of these subgroups here. Either it's going to be the red one or in the blue one, or it's going to be in the red one here, or the gray one here, or the blue one here, or it's going to be in the red group here, or it's going to be in the blue group here, and the list goes on. So for the first one, which is the flow of air and the vibration of vocal cords, we have certain letters where there's going to be a lot of flow of air in your mouth. There's going to be a lot of air coming out of your mouth, and your vocal cords are not going to shake. What are those letters? فَحَثَّهُ شَخْصٌ سَكَتَ. All these letters in this short acronym here, they can be grouped together because the flow of air is a lot, and your vocal cords are not shaking when you're pronouncing them. And now all other letters will be grouped into the other group where there's not that much flow of air and your vocal cords are shaking when you are pronouncing those letters. Okay. And again, this is going to be further clarified. Each and every single one of these 4 here are going to be further clarified one by one. This is just a brief overview. The second way to look at letters to break them down is from the perspective of its capability to elongate. Okay. So there are certain letters, the ones in blue here, where it cannot be elongated, which are these letters in this acronym here. Ajad, qattun, bakat. These letters here cannot really be elongated, meaning that I cannot make a hamza long, right? Because the hamza is a glottal stop. Your 2 vocal cords are coming together and closing on each other. There's no way for me to elongate that and to make it long. There's just no way. It just stops the flow of air. On the other hand, you have these letters here in gray, Lina Umar, so the lam, the noon, the ayn, the mim, and the ra. These letters, they're in between. It's not that they can be elongated at all, but they're not like other letters in the Arabic language. For example, the fa, which can be elongated a lot. F. These letters here, they can be elongated, but it's going to be a bit hard. For the ayn, for example. It's hard, but it can technically happen. Then the third way to break down letters and to look at them is from the perspective of where the sound goes. The sound is either going upwards in your mouth towards your palate, or it's going down. So the letters where the sound is going up is these letters here, so the kha, the sad, and so on and so forth. When you're pronouncing them, the sound in your mouth is going up towards your palate. For all other letters, the sound is going down in your mouth. So for example, as the scene, the sound is going down in my mouth. And the final way to break down letters is from the perspective of whether the sound gets stuck or not. Now, this one's very similar to this one, but it's slightly different. What's meant here by getting stuck is that whether the sound is getting quote unquote stuck between your tongue and your upper palate, whether the sound is getting stuck between your tongue and your upper palate or not. So the ones in blue, the sound is sort of getting stuck between your tongue and your upper palate. So for example, the dad, the sound is sort of getting stuck between my tongue and my upper palate. Now, for all other letters, this is not the case. So, for example, the sin again, S, the sound is going out of my mouth and it's going down. So this is how letters can be broken down based on their attributes. And this is what's meant by attributes. So we're going to be going over each and every single one of these to make it make more sense, inshallah. So from the perspective of the flow of air and the vibration of the vocal cords, we have certain letters where there's a lot of airflow and there's no vibration of the vocal cords, meaning that if you were to put your hand on your throat, you wouldn't feel any vibration there. F, F, ash, als, as, ak, at. There's no vibration coming from my throat. So these letters here, فحثه شخص سكت, the fa, the ha, the tha, the ha, and so on and so forth. These letters are called حروف الهمس. حروف الهمس. So this is one attribute. This attribute number one are the letters that have the attribute of hams. What is the attribute of hams? And these letters here are going to be called حروف الجر. So al-jar is another attribute which is opposite to al-hams, and all other letters excluding فحثه شخص سكت are going to have the attribute of jar, which is what? Not a lot of airflow and a lot of vibration coming from your throat, which are vocal cords. So these are the two first attributes that are opposites to each other. All letters in the Arabic language are either going to have the attribute of al-hams, which is these two things, and they're going to be called huruf al-hams, or is going to have the attribute of jar, which is the opposite of al-hams, which are all other letters excluding these ones here. So this is how it functions. Moving on to the second category, which is its capability to elongate. We have those that can be not elongated, which are these ones here, ajaz, qatun, bakat, which are called huruf al-shidda. Huruf al-shidda are letters that cannot be elongated. I cannot elongate the jim. I cannot elongate the qaf. It just stops the airflow. There's no way for me to make it longer. And now we have letters that are in between, which are called huruf al-bayniyya, which are lin umar, the lam, the noon, the ayn, the mim, and so on and so forth. And these ones here, they can sort of be elongated, but it's hard. It's hard. It's hard. Which are all other letters in the Arabic language, excluding lin umar, these letters here, and the letters in ajid, qatun, bakat. So for example, the letter fa, f, sad, als, sin, s, and then let's go on. And then finally we have where the sound goes. So either the sound is going towards the upper palate, which is letters khassun, dagt, and qidh, which are called huruf al-ista'ana. So al-ista'ana is another attribute, and it means that the sound is going up towards your palate and is found in these letters here. And so on and so forth. And the opposite of al-ista'ana is al-istifal. And al-istifal is the opposite, is that the sound does not go towards the upper palate, but rather it's usually going to be going down. So for example, as, right, the sin, for example, as the zai, which is going out. Main point is that the sound is not going upwards towards my upper palate. So this is called huruf al-istifal. And then finally we have if the sound gets stuck or not. So in these ones, the sound gets stuck between the tongue and the upper palate. Sad, dad, ta, and dha, which are called huruf al-itbaq. Huruf al-itbaq. So al-itbaq is an attribute, and it means that the sound gets stuck between the tongue and the upper palate. So for example, al, and then we have all the other letters in the Arabic language where the sound does not get stuck between the tongue and the upper palate. And those letters are going to have the attribute of al-infitah, and they're going to be called huruf al-infitah. So for example, F, and so on and so forth. And with this, we can break down a brief summary like this. We have the attribute of al-hams and the attribute of al-jar, which has to do with the airflow and the vibration. And hams is with the letters فَحَثَّهُ شَخْصٌ سَكَتْ, and it means that there's a lot of airflow, but there's no vibration. All other letters in the Arabic language can be classified as al-jar and can be called huruf al-jar, and there's going to be not that much airflow, but there is going to be vibration. So for example, as. Then we have, in terms of its elongation, we have a shidda, and its opposite is al-rakhawa. But then we have these in the middle. So al-shidda means that the letter is not able to be elongated, which is the letters ajid, qattun, bakat. Al-bayyina means that it's in between. So it can be elongated, but not that much, which is al-lin umar. And then all the letters in Arabic language are from the letters of al-rakhawa. So huruf al-rakhawa, and they can be elongated, like as, and so on and so forth. Then finally, we have the direction of the sound. Either the sound is going up towards your upper palate, which is called an ista'ana. We have khassun, datun, qil, or is going downwards in your mouth, which is called huruf al-istifal, like s and as, and so on and so forth. Or at the very least, it's not going up. And then we have the stuckness of the sound, quote unquote. And we have huruf al-itbaq, which means that the sound is getting stuck between your tongue and your upper palate, like al. And these are the letters that have al-itbaq happen to them. And then on the other hand, we have huruf al-infitah, which means that it's open, it's not getting stuck, like as, f, s, and then this goes on. So this is a summary of the 9 different types of sifat and huruf that have opposites. We have al-hams, its opposite is al-jahr. Al-shidda, its opposite is al-rakhawa. And al-ista'ala, its opposite is al-istifal. And al-itbaq, its opposite is al-infitah. And then obviously we have al-bayyina, which is in the middle right here.